Okay, so here we are. We opened up the hood. We're kind of looking around. When you pull up to one of these things and you open up the hood, first thing you should look at is aftermarket air filters. That's your first red flag. Sometimes they won't have one of these cold air intake systems like this truck has. Sometimes they will be running a K&N in the stock filter housing. Best bet is to pull the air filter. If it's running a K&N, a lot of times they'll put a K&N label on it. If you see that, best be advised to take a closer look. Moving over to the motor, you're gonna see, you notice all this oil. It's real oily around here, kind of going, you know, that's kind of something to look for when you're dealing with these. You'll notice it's kind of oily all over the valve cover. It's oily all on top here. It's kind of dry towards the back. That is another big red flag. Normally, if you're dealing with a damaged motor, you're going to see signs of motor oil all around the valve cover. Not necessarily mean that there's a hurt motor, but that's usually a telltale sign that something is not right. It could be that it's just a valve cover seal, or there's a breather under here that the O-ring could be bad and causing it to look oily like this. But most times there's something more erroneous going on. Okay, now we're back in the truck. We're going to, what we're going to do is fire this up. Notice it's kind of got a rough, kind of a rough idle to it, kind of a surge to it. Might want to look at the engine RPMs. And with that, we'll come back out here. This is not what you want to see. You don't want to see this. No good. That's not good. See the oil cap doing that? You got a hurt motor. You can also feel it pulsing on your head. You'll feel the pulsations. When you see that, no good. That's what you're seeing there is an expensive, costly repair. You're talking 10 to 14,000 because you're going to need to rebuild the whole motor by the time you go through it. So anyway, we just got done running the motor and you saw the blow by. Put the oil filler cap on here. Now there's multiple reasons for this. A lot of it's probably due to this air filter being inadequate. It's fine for the racetrack, but not fine for unless you're racing off-road. It's not good. It's not adequate. You know, the trade-off with these aftermarket cold air intakes is you get increased airflow, but you also get increased dirt flow too. You get decreased filtration with better airflow. Unfortunately, it's can't have your cake and eat it too. You trade one for the other. And that's probably a lot of it. The other part is filter minders. When you find them broken off like this, air is pretty much, a lot of unfiltered air is bypassing the filter altogether and just taking a shortcut through here and going right into the engine. No good. That will cause a lot of issues and allow dirt into the motor, and over time will cause the slowly grinding away of your motors. So that's no good. Now this motor, we're looking at the truck across from the other truck you just saw, and this one's got the filter minder and it's functioning. This one's kind of pulled down, which is normal. You know, and you can reset this filter minder, but it's complete, not like the other one where the internals are completely gone, and not allowing not allowing unfiltered dirt into the motor like the other one. Like I said, this one, like I said, K&N, see that red flag. Typically used car dealerships know about these K&Ns. If they're smart, they'll rip the stickers off and put a stock filter in there, knowing people are probably catching on to some of this. But you know, if you do see this K&N or some other aftermarket air filter, you need to really take a closer look. And you know, advertising stickers on the air filters are your indicator as to what's going on. This one has a stock filter, but running an aftermarket, it's got the stock filter housing with an aftermarket air filter element in it. You know, not advisable. I think this one we put back to stock, because normally if you got a K&N in here, unless it's really dirty, it won't be sucked down that much. You can reset that. We're going to fire this motor off and show you what the blow-by looks like on a motor that isn't dusted. Okay, here we go. We're going to pull this oil filter cap off. Even though it's a 6.7, it's the same for all of them. But as you can see, nothing bouncing out, no pulses, nothing. You don't see any, really any steam. This motor's been running. It's almost up to operating temperature, and you don't really see anything. This is how a normal motor should look running at idle with no blow-by. This would be acceptable. This usually indicates, this is a good sign that the motor hasn't been dusted. So good there. Okay, got the air cleaner off our dusted motor here. And the cold air intake pipe. This is a good spot to start looking if you're looking at buying a truck. Normally, if the engine's been ingesting dirt, usually the dealerships don't know to look inside, but as you can see in this pipe here, there's a lot of dust buildup. And that will coat, that fine dust will coat the inside. It's kind of hard to see here, but you can see where my fingerprints have cut through the dust layer inside the pipe. You see that? That's another big red flag letting you know, hey, you know, this thing's been sucking in dirt. You know, some engines are going to get a little bit. I don't care what motor you get, even with a stock air filter and regular maintenance on a dusty road, you're going to get a little bit. It shouldn't be, you know, caked up in there. And this is pretty dusty. Getting back down to the turbo down here, we're going to take a look here at it. Also, the turbo is kind of the canary in the coal mine. Everything that goes through the motor has got to pass through the turbo first. And as you can see on the blades, there's kind of it doesn't look too bad. Depending on what the size of the dust particles are, really fine stuff may not. Sometimes on the turbo blades, like this turbo feels fine. It feels good. No real play or anything like that. See if I can get a little bit better shot because I'm trying to do a. But you can kind of see there's a little bit of sandblasting going on there, and that will also be an indicator. This turbo doesn't look too bad. Sometimes just looking at the turbo is not going to tell you everything, you know. It just depends. But sometimes you get big enough particles in there and it'll really beat up the leading edge of the compressor wheel. And so you got to watch out for that. If you see that, that means some pretty big stuff has gone through it. Also, you know, you can look around too. Again, just like the air intake, you know, you get like dust build up in here, dirt, oil, grime. Sometimes there'll be fine powder around here. So take a look at that. All right, moving on. The other thing you should probably bring with you, and people may look at you a little weird, is get a creeper and take it with you, because you're going to want to roll under these things and take a look. Again, a lot of oil under here. This customer brought this in saying, hey, engine runs rough and I got oil leaks. Well, the oil leaks aren't the problem. They're the symptom of a problem. That being a dusted motor. This will also be a good indication when you roll under here, because of all that blow-by coming out of that draft tube. Will be blasting oil from the draft tube, because you can see it's all over the differential. I think he stated he was adding a gallon of oil every month. So, and can't really see the draft tube here. Yeah, there's the crankcase breather tube. That's where all this oil is coming out of. The crankcase breather filter just can't keep up, and even though it's designed to drain most of it back into the crankcase in a normal engine, on a dusted motor the blow-by is just so much that it's just it's basically pushing it out of the crankcase and then out the draft tube here, this tube up here that I got the light on, and then it's just getting blasted down, blasted down back here. So it's all over everything. The fuel tank. This is another indication if you looking at buying a truck. Sometimes used car dealerships are smart enough to clean, pressure wash this all off, so you don't see it, but they don't get everything. And normally you may have to roll up underneath. Like they'll get the bottom of the tank, but then they won't get up in these areas, or the drive shaft a little hard, whoever's doing the cleaning. If they're not thinking like oil droplets getting blown back, they're not going to catch it all. You start seeing motor oil in places it shouldn't be, it's usually an indication it's excessive blow-by and it's getting blown back by the slipstream under here, and then up and around everything, all over the exhaust. You can come back. Back of the truck has got like fine dust everywhere, so or oil droplets all over the bumper, and just making a mess, That, you know, if you wipe your fingers and you got this, you know, this oiliness, that's usually indication excessive blow by. So, and like you're seeing, it's all over the back axle. You see stuff like this. I mean, even you go walking up to a truck and you come up from behind, take a look. You see this is not good.